here we are again. So apparently there's been nothing going around in the world. So it's quite a chill year. uh, India being the second most populous country, seventh biggest geographical country, and whatnot, spends just under 2%, less than 2% of its GDP for public health, uh, compared to countries like USA, which spends around 17 to 18% on public health, uh, is a massively low number. It's below the world average of 8%, according to online sources. And that just got me thinking, given the current scenario, about what's going on. And it's it's disastrous, as you can see. A country as well equipped as the United States cannot cope up with the pandemic. It is a once in a lifetime, once in a generation event, and nobody really can cope up with it. It's just a matter of how we can live with it and how we can manage it. It's a question of managing the pandemic and not finishing it per se. So a country like the US is going through such terrible state, and you can see the damage COVID has caused in India itself. Especially the hotspots of Bombay, Delhi, down south in Tamil Nadu, in Bangalore, and it just got me thinking as to how we got here. Why is this happening in this way in India, and what we can do in the future to avoid this? How we got here is not really surprising. Uh, we have had brilliant programs in their own sake for communicable diseases. We have successfully eradicated polio in the second largest country by population, with not the best of resources. We have a pretty good anti-tuberculosis program. The RNTCP is a extremely efficient program that is an extremely efficient program that is going on. Our vaccination program has been doing quite well in recent years. We have had multiple additions to it, Mission Indradhanush and whatnot, and it just got me thinking as to how we have such stark contrast in what good we've been doing and some of the problems that we have been facing for the last 50 years, 60 years, and have remained unchanged in that duration. As a nation, we have almost doubled our life expectancy in the last century. We have a national program to make sure that there are toilets in all the households, urban rural settings and whatnot. Ease of accessibility to potable drinking water, and just general healthcare has been permeating through the society in the previous few years. But let's just focus on how these programs work. Some of the highly efficient and good programs that we have going around: our polio vaccination program, our RNTCP, the vaccination program. They have had their hurdles, they have had their setbacks, but IDSP, I forgot about that, the Integrated Disease Surveillance Program. These are well thought of, efficient programs that have been doing their job primarily because they are based upon people. The crux of this program is the healthcare worker, the person who is doing contact tracing, the person who is dispensing medication regularly, following up on patients. It does not involve a lot of infrastructure to be developed at one place or a lot of centers. That's an understatement. It does involve developing a lot of infrastructure. It does involve capacity building, but the primary moving pieces in this are people. You need thousands of volunteers to go out and vaccinate children to defeat polio. You need thousands of people working in labs to test for TB as soon as possible, to start dots, to make sure that patients get their treatment wherever they live and whatnot. You have Suraksha clinics for people suffering from HIV/AIDS, and you have NGOs working on that. The resources in these situations are, let's say, small to medium in terms of the money required for that. You have vaccine chambers, vaccine containers, ice storages for cold storages for vaccines. You have testing kits for CBNAT, for MDR, TB, and whatnot. You have testing kits for HIV. You have distribution of condoms, anti-HIV drugs, DOTS, the TB drugs. But the primary resource that is working and is giving us excellent results in this situation are the people working these programs. Compare this to our hospitals. And when I'm talking about hospitals, I'm specifically talking about the three-tiered healthcare system in our country: primary, secondary, and tertiary. A primary healthcare center, a PHC, is there in villages or in urban setting, in slums or in areas, localities of population ranging from 25,000-30,000 to 40,000-50,000, depending on the location and the population density. Then you have community healthcare centers. Then you have tertiary healthcare centers, your big hospitals, your medical colleges, and whatnot. This three-tiered system has existed for the past 30-40 odd years, with the aim of managing various conditions at various levels and then referring patients up the ladder to places where they need to be taken care of. We have had programs attached to this to help patients, like the Rajiv Gandhi or the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana for universal health insurance, to prevent out-of-pocket expenditure for poor, non-affording patients. We have had individual state insurance schemes similarly for these. Personally, I feel the problem lies in capacity building. We at one point made some good decisions. By we, I mean the administration. Good decisions about having private medical colleges in centers which do not have government medical colleges in cities like that, in towns like that. If they adopt a government hospital, and or if they have a sort of a public health wing or sector to their own setting where they will treat poor patients for free like a public hospital. I believe that was there some time around in 2019. But what has been missing acutely for, I know this sentence is going to sound funny, but what has been missing acutely for decades now is capacity building across these levels. We have PHCs in most of the villages, but all of them are not really equipped with a lot of basic things, which is why quacks and private clinics have sprung up even in the remotest of villages, and which is why people still go to these private centers and or quacks, and they are not benefited either financially or in a genuine clinical healthcare setting. When you come to community healthcare centers, a lot of these are in deplorable states. From my personal experience in 3-4 community healthcare centers in Bombay, they seriously need a revamp in terms of funding for structural repairs. I'm talking about leaking roofs, operation theaters not functioning because of lack of equipment, lack of any political will to change it, to better it. We lack experienced specialists and staff in these hospitals for them to really make any sort of dent in public healthcare, especially in the metros. And then we come to the tertiary healthcare centers. The top, the brightest. Ah. The ground reality of these hospitals is that they are up to their neck. I would say drowning in patient load. They needed a life raft, a lifeboat back in the 1990s, or I would say early 2000s. Now they are just clinging on to whatever oxygen there is. It is easy to have these debates in air conditioned news studios or air conditioned hotel rooms, but the ground reality is people are dying because there is no space to stand. There are no beds in such hospitals. There is not enough medication. There are not enough staff to take care of these. There is just not enough that we can do in what we have to save a lot of these avoidable deaths. And please remember, I am still in the pre-COVID section of my talk. This is sounding like the worst TED talk. It's completely unprepared. I think it's going to go around till half an hour. So, TLDR version, tertiary healthcare in India, the public healthcare is quite frankly, I hate to say this word because there are people doing excellent work in public healthcare system, in the public healthcare setup, but the facility, the resource that we have at the tertiary level across the country, or at least in a majority of these situations, is shite, to say the least. What we need is, from the top down, a revamp of the system. This system needs some CPR, some adrenaline, some injection in terms of financial and political will. See, the problem lies is that oh wait, let's come to COVID.